Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Joshua Bonet from Family Support Services, and welcome to Storytime with Friends. Today's story is titled Theodore Thumbs. This story was written by Stephen Moore and illustrated by Morgan Davis. Stephen Moore is actually one of my old college professors, and I really look up to him, and so it's really cool that I get to share this story with you guys today. Hope you guys enjoy it. Once upon a time, in a town not too far away from yours, there lived a young boy named Theodore Thumbs. He would always walk around town on the happy, sunny sidewalks where people small and tall would look down on this little boy with his thumb in his mouth. He drew attention from those near and far because he was small and skinny, his clothes would drag along wherever he walked, and because his long hair had a life of its own. He was old enough to talk, but when they would laugh, point, and stare, he would always, as his body shook in fear, believe in his lucky thumb. One day, while walking upon the sunlit sidewalks, he left his thumb by his side. On the way to school, just down the street, past the grocery store on his left, past the crooked little church in the distance, past his favorite hamburger and ice cream shop. "Hello, Theodore Thumbs," his teacher said with a cheer of sunshine in her voice. She always smiled and greeted her students as they hiked through the door. "How are you?" "I'm okay," Theodore said with half a little smile. But on the way to his desk, he tripped over his clothes. Books, pencils, and papers went everywhere. Everyone laughed, pointed, and stared. Theodore quietly sat down at his desk. He nervously looked around. Then he nervously looked down. He placed his thumb in his mouth and listened for the lesson of the day. After the lesson, the kids all of a sudden heard a happy sound. The recess bell rang throughout the playground as kids roamed around like creatures from the city zoo. The brown oak trees were warmly embraced with little hands and little feet. Some boys flew from one long branch to the next, and some girls skipped around in fields of tall green grass and white sticky flowers. Instead of joining the boys by the trees, Theodore ran over to the slide and swing set, and then he sadly sat there on the swing by himself. While sitting there, a crowd of kids surrounded him. The kids began yelling cruel things at him. "You look silly sitting there. Why do you wear those ugly clothes all the time? Why is your hair so weird and funny? It looks like spaghetti on top of your head." Theodore jumped off the swing and just stood there. Stood there without saying a word. They all laughed. They all pointed. They all stared. And then they began chanting and singing, "Look at silly Theodore Thumbs! Look at silly Theodore Thumbs!" Over and over again, they kept singing this sad song about his name. He nervously looked down. He nervously looked around. His body shook in fear. Then he placed his thumb in his mouth. When school was over, Theo ran as fast as he could. His tears began falling down on the sad, sunny sidewalks. He ran and he ran, past his favorite hamburger and ice cream shop, past the crooked little church, past the grocery store. He sat down by his favorite tree in the front yard of his house. Theo's parents finally came out to see him, and they asked quickly about his day. After he shared with them about his horrible day, they responded, "Ignore them. Ignore them, no matter what they say. If they laugh, point, and stare, remember that you are very special." No, they shouted. You are more than special. You are thumbtastic. Thumbtastic? Theo wondered. Yes, you are thumbtastic. More than fantastic. With that said, Theodore Thumbs smiled the biggest smile. I'm thumbtastic. I'm thumbtastic, he said over and over again. Then everyone in the neighborhood joined in with his parents. They all cheered, they all smiled, they all applauded for dear little Theodore Thumbs. And then they began chanting and singing, "Look at Thumbtastic! Look at Thumbtastic!" Over and over again, they kept singing this happy song about his name. So remember, my dear friend, when they start making fun of you, when you're not having a good day, remember that you are thumbtastic. The end. I hope you guys enjoy that story. In the story, Theodore was made fun of and bullied because he was different, he dressed differently, and he acted differently. And the other kids just didn't understand him. And it made him very sad. But then at the end, he realized that he was special and unique and that nobody could take that away from him. And it made him be more confident in himself. And so what I hope that you guys gather from this is that no matter what anybody says about you, no matter any negative thing anybody says or thinks of you, just remember that it doesn't matter what they think or what they say. Because as long as you know and realize that you're special, that you're unique, and that you are valued, then you can live your most confident life and be the best person that you can be. So thank you guys once again for listening, and have a great day.